Part 4, the data and the decisions. And before you skip this one because you think it's boring, just know that this is the lifeblood of any successful media buying campaign. I have trained dozens of media buyers at this point, and I always make them start with boring PPC tracking, KPI tracking, right? So what that means is there's a Google Doc that literally is a spreadsheet that has to get updated every day with yesterday's data. And when that happens, there's something that clicks in your head that kind of shows you, oh, wow, I'm spending real money and real things are happening. For a media buyer and for someone running their ads for their offer, this is huge because this is the piece that most people are missing. Most people go into the ads manager and they just kind of shake their head and raise their hands and say, I don't know, something's not working. Or, hey, cool, it's working, but they don't know why. This KPI tracking spreadsheet is going to be just essential to actually understand what's actually working, what's not working, are we making money or are we not? And if not, why? I have a template that I'm going to share here and kind of walk through. And basically, we're going to walk through understanding your ad data through using this spreadsheet. So at AdClass, we call this the PPC template. I'm going to share this with you guys for free as part of this training. But basically, this is the lifeblood of what we do as far as ad tracking goes. And we found ways to automate this so it does get updated automatically, because when you're spending millions across multiple dozens of accounts, it gets a little time consuming to update. However, I would highly recommend that you update this yourself for the first few months of running ads, because it's going to be a huge game changer for you in understanding what's working, what's not. So jumping right in, this is what it looks like. This is the really simple way to break it out. So down here at the bottom of the panel, I actually have it broken by month and platform. So for example, you'll see March 2023 for Facebook. If we were running YouTube, we would have March 2023 of YouTube, right? And then every single month I would duplicate it out, update the dates, and start fresh. What this does is it allows me to not only see the data for the month all in one place, but I can actually pull from this data and create other manipulations of the data elsewhere, like in Google Looker Studio, or formerly known as Data Studio, if I wanted to. Really, it's quite simple. All you have is the source on the left. So that's going to change. If we go to YouTube, it's going to say YouTube. You have the day of the week, you have the date. And then from there, all of this stuff is the same thing that gets updated every single day. So we have ad spend that gets inputted. So I'll just do a fake day here as we go. So $250 in ad spend this day. Impressions, this gets pulled straight from the ad platform. So you literally just go to yesterday's date and you look at total impressions. So let's just say we did 10,000 impressions. You'll notice that some of this stuff gets updated automatically as I'm filling this in. So if I spend $250 and get 10,000 impressions, my CPM's gonna update automatically based on the CPM formula here, which is nice and handy. My reach here, let's just say that my reach was 8,000 and that frequency is gonna actually update. That means that I saw my ads were seen by 8,000 unique people, but some of them saw them multiple times, right? Because there was 10,000 total impressions, which means that every person saw my ad 1.25 times, if you want to think of it that way, right? If I put this reach down to 4,000 as an example, now my ads have been seen 2.5 times by each person that day. And now we're getting into some frequency issues, right? So I'm updating these arbitrarily just to show you how these metrics change, but this will give you a really good picture of what's working and what's not once you have this filled out for a whole month, for example. Unique link clicks, let's say we got 100, and then my cost per click and my CTR update automatically as well. So we'll talk a little bit here about what these things mean before we move on. So CPM is a very common advertising metric, and what it means is cost per 1,000 impressions. So really simple math, basically you take your 1,000 impressions and you look at your cost and you figure the CPM, right? So it's called cost per 1,000 impressions, but it's actually a variable that changes a lot with ads. And what it really tells you is how expensive are my ads, right? So your CPMs might be $90, and that might be because you're going after an audience that a lot of people are going after, or it might be because your ad is low converting and Facebook doesn't really want to show it, so they're charging you more for it. Might be because your landing page is non-compliant, right? There's 1,000 things that it could be, but what it does do is it gives you a frame of reference for how much are you paying for your ads. If your CPMs are super high, you might be paying a little bit too much. You might need to change some things around, right? Frequency we talked about, that's how many times your people have seen your ads. If it's cold traffic, you're going for a 1. That means everybody that saw your ad saw it 1 time. However, if you're doing some retargeting and some warm traffic, that can definitely go up a little bit, right? Cost per click, very simple. How much are you paying for one unique click to your website? So if I spent $2.50 and I got 100 clicks, I'm paying $2.50 a click. And then my unique click-through rate, this is gonna be basically of all of the people that saw my ads, so reach, not impressions, but unique people, how many of them clicked? So if I had 8,000 people see my ad and 100 clicked, 1.25% of them clicked. This metric, we really are looking for above 1% unique click-through rate on ads. That's gonna be a pretty good metric to shoot for cold traffic. All right, and then leads, you can pull this from Facebook. We typically use a platform called Hyros to pull this, but Facebook's gonna be just fine for the majority of you guys at the beginning. Let's just say we got 20 leads. Now I know my cost per lead on this day was $12.50 because I'm taking 250 divided by 20, and that's giving me $12. I paid $12.50 effectively for each lead that day. If I scroll over to the right, let's say I generated 2 calls. You can see that now I'm getting some more math here. If I got 2 calls yesterday, then that means I paid $125 for a call, and my lead to call percentage, which, you know, this is kind of an advanced metric, but how many of my leads went on to book a call, right? That's 10%. Well, I mean, this could change drastically. If I got 5 calls yesterday, wow, now my cost per call looks really good. My lead to call percentage is really good, right? If I got 2 calls, you know, it looks like this. So that's really helpful. And let's just say we closed 1 unit yesterday. That's what we're putting here in sales. And the revenue I collected, let's say, was $5,800. I didn't have any recurring revenue. Now I can start to see the really fun metrics. I can start to see my lead to close percentage. What percentage of my leads actually went on to close? That's a nice one. We want that above 1% typically. And then we can also see my return on ad spend. So I've only spent, you know, a handful of dollars and I've generated 10,000. That means my return on ad spend is quite high, right? And down here, it will actually sum it up. We're at 2,800% return on ad spend for the month, right? Or a 3.8 ROAS. So that is kind of how this PPC tracking sheet works. There are some hidden columns in here too that we have for like CPA. If you wanted to pull CPA, this is a really nice one. That's going to be units over ad spend. So you know what you're paying for a purchaser. Really, this data is going to be essential to you because when someone, you know, comes in and wants to audit your account or ask you how things are going, this is where you're going to point to. So it needs to be updated daily. It needs to be highly accurate. Again, I'll give you guys this template within this training. That is the PPC template. That's how we track our KPIs for ads. Hopefully it's helpful.